Come on into the ditch. I'm your resident ditch witch, Tara Tyne, and we have some big friggin' news for you. You may remember me teasing you with mentions of legal shenanigans in my big news and Baltana video a few weeks back. I will admit I was being a little bit clickbaity because, well, that's how YouTube works. But really, it was just my creative way of telling you that we were at the paperwork stage of buying a cottage! Yep, we finally did it. It's a beautiful derelict cottage sitting on almost an acre. The good news is this brings to an end 15 grueling years of housing worries for me. Those of you who know me personally know that it has been a long, and at times truly traumatic road for me trying to secure long-term housing for myself as an artist who struggles with a hidden disability, which I don't like to talk about all that much. Don't worry, someday I'll write a book and share it all with those of you who want to know. Let's just say the struggle has at times reached truly mythical proportions. The bad news is our new home is in County Leitrim, so it does mean leaving Dundalk and moving 3 whole counties away. But honestly, property prices on the East Coast are completely unfeasible for low-income earners like ourselves. And I honestly find Leitrim to be a really beautiful county and can't wait to start my new life adventure there. We'll be living in the countryside, which is perfect for me, although it will be Dave's first time living outside of Dundalk, so let's hope he likes it. I am going to insert a wee tour video of the house itself in a few minutes time, but before we get there, I do feel I need to fully explain the pressure we're under right now, so you don't hate me if my videos are less than weekly for the next little while. I'm sure you've noticed it's been a bit arseways the last couple of months. You might remember me sharing late last year that I've received notice to move out of my current house, and the clock is fast ticking down on that. I have to be out of here by in or around the end of the first week in August, so that leaves us approximately 9 weeks to do up a rather shoddy mobile home that we've bought, get it moved to Leitrim so we have somewhere to live whilst we're renovating the cottage, and to get it hooked up for electric, gas, water and septic, as well as getting a portion of the field levelled and layered with stone to ensure our mobile doesn't sink into the boggy sort of land during the wet months. Oh yes, and we're doing it all on a budget of about €8,000, which needs to include us buying and insuring a van so we can gather and move building supplies. Thankfully, I have offers of paid jobs coming in almost weekly since I finished my residency in Anton Arts Centre a month ago, but obviously I still need the time to actually do said work, and so as much as I hate having to deprioritise my YouTube channel just as it's really taken off for me, I'm sure you'll understand that we need to bump up our budget as much as is humanly possible right now. Our little cottage was originally listed at €45,000, but it transpired that despite having no other bidders competing with us, the vendor really hadn't intended on selling it for less than $50,000. So we finally managed to nail it down at $52,500, which is admittedly a bargain for what we got, but was still a little bit above what we planned to pay and involved getting a loan, which we are currently paying in addition to our rent payments. Thankfully, we got our mobile home for €1,000, but I've estimated it will cost about another $1,000 to make it habitable and a further $1,000 to transport it to our site in Leitrim. Yeah. So I do intend on filming all the renovation work we're doing on both the mobile home and the house. In fact, I've started already since we have been spending any free time we have on evenings and weekends stripping out the mobile and getting her ready for some nice new lino flooring and a seemingly endless list of annoying and costly little repair jobs which will help ensure that we are dry and warm this coming winter and perhaps the winter after that too. So I've rambled on enough now, let's get to the bit you really want to see. And that's the video tour. It's been a few weeks since we actually visited Leitrim last. It's approximately a 2-hour drive from Dundalk at petrol prices, am I right? And so we are currently only visiting it when we absolutely have to and when Dave isn't working, i.e. weekends when we're not working on the mobile. But I did shoot this footage of it when we first viewed it back in March. You may remember me visiting a house which was for sale in Roscommon around that time. Well, on that day we actually visited 2 houses so that we could really maximise the productivity of that one long and expensive road trip. Little did we know at the time that it would be our first and last round of house shopping and that our prayers would all be answered on that very day. So here it finally is, after 2 months, the top secret house tour of what would soon become our actual home. Come on into the ditch. I'm your resident ditch witch, Tara Tyne, and this week it's property. We've come down to this beautiful period cottage in County Leitrim. Again, Leitrim is another kind of Midlands county, and yet it does actually have Ireland's shortest coastline. But I have to show you this little treasure of a cottage that's going. There's quite a bit more to see too, but let's look inside first. I don't know if you can see, but there is great potential in here and a very sound ceiling by the looks of it. Most of the roof seems to be quite solid, and again you've got your gigantic big traditional turf fireplace here. I always think of turf when I see a fireplace like that because there's bogland all around. It's actually a little bit boggy in here where we are. You can see there's some reeds and things growing, so that's a good way of telling that you've got kind of bogland. But you can imagine cooking over that on an open fire with your wrought iron pots and the works. One end of the building does have quite a serious ivy problem. As you can see here, it's actually growing in through the wall. So it's actually taken plaster away with it. But I think, you know, considering the rest of the roof is in pretty good nick, that's probably quite a small job. And actually, this place has electricity, which is quite surprising for a cottage of this age. It seems to have been lived in up until not that long ago. And we have another fireplace room in here. Again, quite solid. And you can see where the old fireplace used to be, just there. So we've got the old bed spring. I presume this would have been a bedroom at one point, and quite a sizable one that it would be too. It's listed on Daft as a 3-bedroom house, but I think it doesn't officially have a bathroom, and so the room where the toilet is sitting in place on the floor, not connected, is meant to give the idea of a bathroom, but is technically being counted as a bedroom. So that's one thing to bear in mind when shopping in Ireland for property, is that often, you know, any spare room will be counted as a bedroom if it isn't already plumbed to be a bathroom or a kitchen, etc. And we do tend to place quite a lot of emphasis on bedroom numbers here. It is one of the main criteria that you can choose when shopping for properties. And as I said, this property offers a lot more potential for expansion and a sort of slow burn renovation project, because you've got this cottage, which I believe is part of the property, and also this here looks like a second cottage. There's actually a window which still has glass panes in it through on the far wall of this, even though it's destroyed in ivy. But you can see from the off the potential that it has. And also, all of this that you can see comes with it too. So actually, if you would be thinking about homesteading or that kind of thing, this would be a perfect property for doing it. One thing that you might want to look at as well, if you are thinking about buying a property to renovate in Ireland, is that you might want to live on a mobile home or other kind of temporary home on wheels until the renovation is completed. And you want to make sure that you not only would have space to put that and access to services while you're living in it, but also that there would be access in order to get a mobile home or another kind of large living unit
onto the property. It's kind of frowned upon to just go knocking great big holes in ditches here. So this site luckily does have a second access point just down there, and also another shed to add to the collection. As if it needed more outhouses, Dave.
Yeah, it's right. It's
I can't get over this property. I think it's listed at, what is it, in the early 40s?
Yeah, in and around that.
Which is incredibly cheap. And even though it is listed as up for auction currently on Daft, I have been informed by the agent that it was previously up for auction and either the sale fell through or it didn't sell. So sometimes, I know I'm always kind of like, beware of the auction listings, but sometimes it's worth digging into them and keeping an eye on the properties that are meant to go up for auction at a certain date and are still up on Daft several weeks or a month or two after the auction date. Because sometimes there are still bargains to be had. I think the drains need cleared, Dave.
They're probably doing it, to be honest.
That'll probably be your first job, I'd say.
Oh yeah, you know. He'll get up to the water, but be laughing.
That's an afternoon's work.
2 minutes.
You'd be happy out, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I'll be so happy.
I think we better get out of here before we move in, Dave.
Yeah, that's right.
And there it is, our little piece of heaven, and right now it is the light at the end of my sometimes overwhelming tunnel of work. I'm so pleased I can finally share it with you all because I can barely hold the steam in me piss, let alone a secret as big and exciting as this one. And before I go, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank every one of you from the bottom of my heart for your ongoing support. Whether it's donations you've made on Buy Me a Coffee or on Ko-Fi, or signing up to a paid membership option, scroll down and hit the join button to check out my 3 payment tiers, or even just by hitting the YouTube like button, sharing, commenting on my videos, since these really boost the algorithm and help bring in more viewers and ad revenue for my channel. Because honestly, all of these combined have given me a confidence in myself and my work that I never dreamed possible. And without you, I wouldn't be sitting here telling you that I'll never ever have to worry about another rent increase or eviction notice ever again. Alright, I'm gonna peace out now before I make an absolute clown show of myself. Stay tuned and hit subscribe for more fun and witchy housing adventures. I'll upload as much as I possibly can and keep you updated on every step of the process. Slán agus beannacht, goodbye and good luck to you.